I think he was a great labor secretary, not a good labor secretary. He's done a fantastic job. He's a friend of everybody in the administration, and I got a call this morning early from Alex, and I think he did a very good job yesterday. Under a lot of pressure, he did a fantastic job, and he explained it. He made a deal that people were happy with, and then 12 years later, they're not happy with it. You'll have to figure all of that out, but the fact is, he has been a fantastic Secretary of Labor. And Alex called me this morning and he wanted to see me. And I actually said, well, we have the press right out here, so perhaps you just want to say it to the press. But I just want to let you know, this was him, not me, because I'm with him. He's a tremendous talent. He's a Hispanic man. He went to Harvard, a great student. And in so many ways, I just hate what he's saying now because we're going to miss him. But please, Alex.
Thank you, Mr. President. Over the last week, I've seen a lot of coverage of the Department of Labor. And what I have not seen is the incredible job creation that we've seen in this economy, more than 5 million jobs. I haven't seen that workplace injuries are down, bucking a 3-year trend. Workplace fatalities are down, bucking a 3-year trend. That we had the safest year ever in mining, the lowest number of fatalities ever in mining. I have seen coverage of this case that is over 12 years old, that has input and vetting at multiple levels of Department of Justice. And as I look forward, I do not think it is right and fair for this administration's Labor Department to have Epstein as the focus rather than the incredible economy that we have today. And so I called the president this morning. I told him that I thought the right thing was to step aside. Cabinet positions are temporary trusts. It would be selfish for me to stay in this position and continue talking about a case that's 12 years old rather than about the amazing economy we have right now. And so I submitted my resignation to the president effective 7 days from today, effective 1 week from today, earlier this morning.
I wasn't a big fan of Jeffrey Epstein, that I can tell you. And now if you look, the remnants hurt this man, and I hate to see it happen. I will say this, and I say it again, and I say it loud and clear. Alex Acosta was a great Secretary of Labor. What he's done with plans, and you see the plans coming one after another. You're just about done with the 401k, and
that
happened. Things that nobody would even think of. So it's very sad, but at the same time, he wants to focus to be on accomplishments, not on what you're talking about. Well, Alex believed that. I'm willing to live with anything, John. I think you know me. I've lived through things that you wouldn't believe. Alex felt that way. And he also felt we're so good, we're doing so well. The economy, the stock market just hit the highest point yesterday in the history of our country. Our unemployment numbers are the best they've ever been. If you look at specifically certain groups, African American, Asian, Hispanic, the best unemployment numbers in the history of our country. There's so many good things, and he didn't want to distract from that. And I understand that 100%. So Paul Ryan was not a talent. He wasn't a leader. When the people in freedom and great congressmen wanted to go after the Dems for things that they did very badly, he wouldn't give subpoenas, whereas Nancy Pelosi hands them out like they're cookies. Paul Ryan was a lame duck for a long time as Speaker. He was unable to raise money. He lost control of the House. The only success Paul Ryan had was the time that he was with me, because we got taxes cut. I got regulation cuts. I did that mostly without him. But for Paul Ryan to be complaining is pretty amazing. I remember a day in Wisconsin, a state that I won, where I stood up and made a speech, and then I introduced him, and they booed him off the stage, 10,000 people. So for him to be going out and opening his mouth is pretty incredible. But maybe he gets paid for that, who knows? Maybe he gets paid for that. Mexico has done an outstanding job so far. If you look at the border, it's down now 30%, and that's only 1 week inclusive where they've gotten it together. The June numbers just came out. It's down. It looks like it's going to end up being a little bit above 30% down. It's going to be down more and more. They have 21,000, and I say 21,000 Mexican soldiers on the borders, both their southern border and our southern border. And we really have it in control. The problem is we have a big problem. The laws are so bad. The Democrats have to help us fix the immigration laws. But even with that, because of the job that Mexico's doing, and yes, they maybe did it because of tariffs, but they're doing a great job, and I appreciate it. Well, I think how many bites at the apple do you get? We've gone through 500 witnesses, 2,500 subpoenas. I've let them interview my lawyers. I've let them in because I had nothing to do with Russia. Now that's come out. There was no collusion. But how many people and how many times, and this has been going on for 2.5 years. Rush Limbaugh said there's nobody else in the world that he knows that could have taken it. And on top of taking it, I've been a great president. I've done more, listen, I've done more in 2.5 years than any other president. Nobody's even close, including, we just said, Veterans' Choice and all of the other things I've got. But for 2.5 years, so now they have Mueller go make a speech. That goes. Now they want to have him again. They want to go it again and again and again because they want to hurt the president for the election because I see what I'm running against. You got sleepy Joe Biden. He doesn't have the energy to be president. And the people that are nipping on his heels, they don't have what it takes. And I can tell you that China and Russia, and I've been rougher on Russia than any president in the last 50 years, China and Russia and try North Korea, where I have a relationship. You don't have a man testing nuclear anymore. You have a man, wait, you have a man that was so happy to see me. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. You have a man that doesn't smile a lot, but when he saw me, he smiled, he was happy. You have a man that when I came into office, all he was doing before, under Obama, was testing nuclear weapons and blowing up mountains. And now he's not doing it. There's nothing he can say. He's written a report. The report said no collusion, and it said effectively no obstruction because there's no obstruction. And the other thing is very interesting. So they find out there's no collusion. The whole thing is about collusion. So they find out it's no collusion. Now, actually, it was different. It was bad crimes committed by the other side. We'll find out about that. I'm sure that's being looked at right now. So there's no collusion and there's no obstruction. Now, we have a great attorney general now. He's strong and he's smart. And he read it and he studied it along with Rod Rosenstein, who worked it from the beginning. And Rod Rosenstein and Bill Barr said there's no obstruction. It's also interesting. Number one, there's no crime. And how do you obstruct when there's no crime? Also, take a look at one other thing. It's a thing called Article 2. Nobody ever mentions Article 2. It gives me all of these rights at a level that nobody has ever seen before. We don't even talk about Article 2. So, they ruled no collusion, no obstruction. Very simple. I have no idea. You know what I know? You know what I know about Alex? He was a great student at Harvard. He's Hispanic, which I so admire, because maybe it was a little tougher for him and maybe not. But he did an unbelievable job as the Secretary of Labor.